I'll be going through the story of Project Target and DeepSeek. Just a short summary, you can say. So, what was Project Target? It was an initiative by Donald Trump, and it was a private sector-led initiative. And the goal was to establish the dominance of American AI. And initial investors included OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, but they said that the initial investment of 100 billion is there, and they target a investment of 500 billion by 2029. And basically, it was to build specialized data centers for AI training and stuff. But about 2-3 days after the initiative was announced, DeepSeek announced their two models. The models they announced were R1 and Genus Pro. R1 was the high performance reasoning model, and Genus Pro was the image generation model. And these two models they demonstrated comparable capabilities to the leading Western models, but they were able to do it at a much lower cost. And not only that, they were also built on top of open sourced. I think it was based on Llama architecture, so it was open source. As a result of this, as a result of being cost efficient to build and being open source, there was some impact on market. You can Nvidia's stock was erased by $500 billion or so. But I think the cost economics also of this model should go down. By that I mean that the cost structure of AI services would also face transformation. For example, initially, or like I think even now, some closed source AI charge like $10 or $30 per million tokens if you are using their APIs, whereas open source models were already charging less. But if you are able to train them much more efficiently, then those charges will even go down. So ultimately, the use of or the access to AI by a small and medium-sized business will be more accessible to them. So they will be able to apply high, very sophisticated AI in their products as well. But there is also a question of the AI bubble. Is there any kind of AI bubble right now? So many AI companies do appear overvalued, particularly Nvidia has seen a big increase in their valuation. But as of now, it seems from different perspectives I've read, the bubble is not burst yet because of this news or this announcement. It's just a slight correction. But the bubble will likely burst when it will become apparent that the current LLMs cannot achieve profitability. So I don't know how profitable as of now this LLM are, because the cost to train and the cost of inference is much higher probably than how much they are earning in profit. And also there's a question whether this current way of LLMs will ever reach general intelligence, which these AI companies are they are that is what their focus is, or their entire marketing, let's say, idea is that they will reach general intelligence. And if this current status of LLMs cannot reach there, then these valuations of many overvalued companies will come down. So market correction will likely occur when investors realize that existing LLM architectures are there is a fundamental limitation in them, which I don't know if it is obvious yet or not. But in the long term, despite the concerns of having a bubble or not, the underlying AI technology itself is probably not overvalued, because similar to the dot-com bubble, when there was a crash. Even though there was a crash, many overvalued companies may have failed, but the underlying technology still exists, and it is quite important to the society. So the AI market correction also could reshape which companies are surviving, which process or which approach will survive. But the long-term potential of AI will still be there. So that was like a short summary, you can say, of what happened regarding Stargate and DeepSeek.
Okay. So yeah, so what was the objective of Stargate again?
Basically to build infrastructure for training.
Okay, in the US.
Only in the US, yes.
Okay.
To have specialized data centers is one of them. I know. I may probably they have few more agenda.
Okay.
But the main was to establish infrastructure for training.
Okay. So yeah, another news that another less a news and more of an article or opinion was what is the long term or what is the main focus of DeepSeek right now? So unlike most of the US companies, like mostly I would say OpenAI, so their objective is OpenAI and even other Gemini or Anthropic. They're alongside research, they're also trying to commercialize their uh, products, which is fine because you have to somehow make money for your research to go on. That is okay, but also it's also because of the economic system that prevails in Western societies, which is capitalism is the dominant economic system. That's the system here. Whereas in China, it's a bit different. So there is capitalism, but it's being controlled by the state. So the whole economic system is a bit different there. But at the same time, so that's why probably the companies are not focusing. So they have different targets and objectives over there in China. So right now, what DeepSeek is more focused on is, as I've seen in the article that I've read, is that they are trying to put more effort towards core research in their objective of trying of reaching AGI, instead of trying to focus on how to commercialize their product. So so one of the reasons behind this is that their founder, uh, he, he 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 had a hedge fund, so he's actually a very rich person. I believe he's probably a billionaire. So the thing is that he has a lot of his own money that he has poured into it. So right now he doesn't require a lot of outside money for this. So again, a lot of people, a lot of investors, I mean, a lot of Chinese investors have tried to reach the management, DeepSeek's management, and tried to offer investments, but the company has declined so far. So they are saying that we are not looking to raise money at the moment, and they are currently mostly focused on core research. And one of the reasons I believe that they do not want money is that even though yes, the research will definitely require money, but I think, as I've said, he is a billionaire, so that his own money is quite sufficient for now. And because they aren't commercializing, the thing is that if you start commercializing, you'll need a bigger tech infrastructure to back that up, because a lot of people will be using your product through many ways, either your apps or they might use your APIs. So to cover those things, to make it functional, you'll need a much more bigger advanced infrastructure. Whereas if you're just researching, you won't need that amount of infrastructure. Hence, you won't need that amount of money. So I think so. It's also so one of the points that I'm trying to make is that because of the different economic systems in these two different countries, so that's why and because of this, they are taking different approach towards how they are pursuing AGI. That's one thing. And yeah, that's probably the main thing here. So do you have anything to say before I speak something else? Okay, so what else? Yeah, so again, another company, I think so it was Tencent. I think they have also released, they also have their own similar model named Quen. Have you heard of this Quen?
I think it's by Alibaba.
Yes, I think it's from Alibaba. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I actually forgot who was the parent company, but I think so 2 or 3 years ago I used that model for the first time. So actually, even they have they initially started in 2023, released their first model in 2023, probably August of 2023, and since then they have now iteratively released more and more advanced models. The recent one was their reasoning model, which I think so they have released on 6th of March. I think so. I have a timeline. I have created a note about this timeline. Let me see. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Can you see this one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is on 3rd August. They launched their first ever model, the Quen 7 billion parameter model, and over the past 1 or 2 years, they have released various iterations of their model. So the recent foundation model is their 2.5 version, the 2.5 version of their model, and their latest release is from on 6th of March, which is their reasoning model, QWQ 32 billion parameter. And actually, I think so. I don't know. Maybe there exists other one, but others as well. But this is the only platform where I found that you can generate videos for free at the moment. I think ChatGPT also allows it, but you have to have a paid subscription. I think so. You can't do it for free. And DeepSeek doesn't have such functionalities yet, but Quen can do that. Actually, I tried to make one intro video for our video. So I think so. I'll probably show the example here. So yeah. Okay. I give this prompt. Create a short YouTube video intro about the background. It's a cyberpunk city. The logo is DT. For some reason, it's not coming up at the moment. I have downloaded it, so maybe I can show that one. Can you see this other screen now? Okay, so this is the video generated by it. Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
And you can see on the right bottom right corner, the 1X logo is there. So
That is the name of the model.
yes, I don't know if it's visible. Yeah, on the bottom right corner.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, so that was the video that was created here. So it took, I think so, about it took a few minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes to create this. Thought it was possible here. So yeah, the point is, yeah,
But is
China.
it not being used in? I mean, I have not heard of coin being used by any, like, it's not discussed as much as the other models.
Yes, the thing is, Chinese. What I've seen is that a lot of developments are I mean, a lot of technological developments are being made in China, but they are not being discussed as much as it should have. I think so. DeepSeek was the only exception there. Apart from that, none of the other developments are discussed as much. And see, one of the reasons that I can see is definitely a political reason behind it, because there are the two things. Uh, we mostly get our news from the we are mostly attuned to the Western media and Western culture, and by Western I mean mostly US, and US does not have a good relation with China, and so they tend not to speak much about China as much as possible. And whenever they do speak, it's more about the conflict aspect, not about the positive things that are happening over there. And the second thing is that we live in India, so and China is our neighbor, and that's the thing with every I think so with every country in this planet, is that whichever country you reside in, your neighbors, there's definitely something going on with your neighbors. You can definitely see the example with US itself, with Canada and Mexico. They are neighbors on the north and south. So there's something going on. So similarly in India, with our neighbors Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, something else, something always goes on, something. So the thing is that, again, so there will always be a sentiment around about not trying to showcase what's happening in your neighbor's country too much. So because of these two influence, we don't get to see much of what's happening out there, and we always have this perception. Even in my mind right now, even when I try to be objective, all I can, all the data that I have about China is all the negative things about it. How their government is so totalitarian, how they treat some minorities out there. So those are the kind of news that we mostly see. So this kind of developments seems to be on the background. But yeah, but as you can see that technology wise they are competing right at the same page with yeah, the US. So which also brings me to the next topic about the robots. So the previous time that we discussed about robots, most of them are either American or European companies, and they had made some significant advances in their developments. But after that, since the thing about YouTube is once you start looking at something, they start showing you similar things, their recommendations. And I got recommended a lot of videos about robots, but these are mainly Chinese robots. And just like them, they've also made certain advancements there. Let's just show some videos here. So those are mostly Chinese here. So these are, I think this is from the company. This is Unity at uh, this one's not. Thing is, this robot probably is from the company called Unity, but the video here shows an algorithm. Uh, yeah, the main objective of this video is to demonstrate this algorithm that through which they can rise quickly and stably from different positions. That's what they're showing.
So
mostly.
the development was on the software, the hardware is from Unitary.
Yes, yes, because I remember this is means from the structure of the robot. It is probably unitary, but yeah, software was mostly done from all those universities. But I think so. It's mostly software because you can see that robots are changing from video to video. So maybe this this group of this lab is taking in robots from various companies. And yeah, this most of these are from this channel, CGTN. So it's a Chinese news channel. I don't know what's the China Global Television Network. So again some more. Yeah. So one of the things about China is that in most of the cases here, they are not talking about the names of the companies or what they are. They just show that a brand new humanoid robot is doing this and that. So again, this talks about the economic system in there. So even though there is a capitalist system that allows competition and so on, but it's all the government is the primary decision maker here. So at the when they are showcasing themselves to the rest of the world, they do not say that this company has made this or this company has made it. They just say that we China have created this one. So yeah. And again, I am not talking against this kind of economic system. I'm just telling the difference. I'm just trying to be objective here that I don't prefer one over the other anyways. So just the differences that exist here. Yeah, like for example, when OpenAI makes something, they do not say that the US has done this. No, OpenAI has done that, or Anthropic has done it, Google has done it, not the US. So country comes first in China. Another again, no mention of what company this is, but just about. And there's also Kung Fu or robot from Unitary that does Kung Fu.
I think I've seen this one.
Uh, so I probably think this is real, but again, sometimes it just seems like that it is a CGI. Specifically, this video. Seems like it is.
I mean, all the videos I've seen, they seem to be do the same movements.
Yeah, so they just learn this move. And yeah, since talking about robots, I think I found one Indian company to developing robot here. There's this one. It's called Mux Robotics, and they have even it's recent too. On March 5th, they have released this robot. I think it has. Yeah, and this he also has his own YouTube channel, Fish Banga. He is the founder of this company. And I think the last thing about robots is Gemini. They have also announced this their own model called Gemini Robotics. So previously, I showed you about figures, helix. That was a VLA model. So let me show the video again. I showed you this video last time.
Yeah.
So I have said that it's written here that helix is a generalist VLA vision language action model. So what's a VLA? So we know that we have these language models like ChatGPT, or at least the initial models that could only take a language as input and process those things. After that came the vision language model. So the thing is that along with language, they can also take vision as input and process and keep output as per that. Now, vision language action models are models that use the vision language model. I think so. They used it as a foundation model, and in top of that, they also take all the robotic action data and whatever they've been trained on, and then they use the language and visual things as input, and and as an output they give all the whatever the motions that they do. So that's the output there. So the objective of VLA is that it's like a whatever LLM is for text or writing essays or generating code, VLA is that thing for robotics. So think about VLA as LLM for robotics, for robot movements and everything. The mind for robotic intelligence. So this was Helix. Now Gemini Robotics is the same thing. Is also a VLA. I think so. It's written here. Yeah, is an advanced VLA model, just like that. So it's Now again.
So they are not talking about the hardware here. They are talking about the model.
Yes. So what I've come to understood over the past few weeks is that so far whatever development in robotics has been made was on the hardware part, in terms of the movements and everything and all of those things. I think those are independent of the decision making part. So a robot can do different things. You have seen that robots are making backflips or whatever the previous one did, kung fu. So even you can see Boston Dynamics robots are doing a lot of things. They're four-legged ones and the two-legged ones. So those are the mechanical aspects of it, or the physical aspects of it. But I think so this vision language action models, the software part, what this brings, what I think is that when should you do that? When should you flip? Right now it's an action that they can do, but they don't know when to do that. It's like, for example, you learn something, but if you are a fresher in a company or in your job, you know something, but you don't know when to do. When you grow in your experience, suppose you are working in some industry for 10-15 years, you know what you also know, apart from the core skills, you also know when to do, what to do things. So you develop that intelligence. You just don't have the raw skill anymore. Alongside the raw skill, you also need the intelligence about thinking when to do, what to do, and so on. So I think so far whatever developments have been made in the robotics area was on the physical side of the things. Now finally, their mind, in terms of their mind, I don't think much development was made. But right now, since the development of LLMs and the starting from the transformer architecture and development of LLMs and VLMs, now they are finally able to integrate the mind with the body, and they are calling the next step of AI is embodied intelligence, which means that now you give the brain a body. So far what was happening is that the brain and body were being developed separately. Different kind of people are developing. There's one group of people who were focusing more on the brain, the mind, and the other one were focusing on the body. Now we have finally reached a point in this journey where this body and mind can finally merge. So yeah, so this is DeepMind's version of the vision language action model. Again, I think so the foundation, the base model is Gemini 2.0, which I think they released, I don't remember, probably the end of last year or the beginning of this year. So yeah, that's I think they have also showed a demo here. Let's just look.
We're bringing Gemini 2.0's intelligence to general-purpose robotic agents in the physical world. To be helpful, robots need to be interactive, responding live to your actions and your voice. They need to be dexterous to complete your most complex tasks. And they need to be general to understand things in your 3D world. And all of these capabilities need to work across different physical forms. We're bringing this together in Gemini Robotics, our most advanced vision language action model. Gemini Robotics is interactive.
Can you put the bananas in the clear container?
Notice how we move the objects and the model reacts and replans on the fly.
Can you put the grapes in the clear container?
Our model's low latency means it can respond live to rapidly changing conditions and instructions. This same model can generalize to all kinds of applications where you can collaborate with the robot live. Gemini Robotics is dexterous. High dexterity tasks are some of the biggest challenges in robotics.
I can fold the orange square into an origami fox.
That sounds fun. Why don't we try that?
Sure. Did you know that the word origami comes from the Japanese words ori, meaning to fold, and kami, meaning paper?
These capabilities are enabled by Gemini 2.0's spatial understanding of detailed aspects of things in your world.
I can point to where the eye should be drawn on the fox.
Most importantly, Gemini Robotics is general. It uses Gemini 2.0's world understanding to generalize across a vast range of real-world tasks.
Can you flip the red die so that it matches the number on the green die?
Many robots can execute predefined actions, but these movements are not predefined. The robot is reasoning both about what it sees and how to move. It figures out how to make the red die match just like we asked. And this generalization goes even further. This same model can generalize to tasks like this one that it's never been trained to do.
Pick up the basketball and slam dunk it.
Keep in mind, these are objects the robot has never seen before. But by leveraging Gemini 2.0's understanding of concepts like basketball and slam dunks, the robot figures out the task. We're now inviting more partners to join our Trusted Testers program, where we're working together to build the next generation of robotic AI agents. Learn more about how we're bringing Gemini to the physical world at deepmind.google/robotics.
So again, this demonstration was quite similar to the one which you saw about helix, figures helix, about this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's quite similar. So again, now we can see the next stage of use cases about AI models where they are being used here. So, which also reminds me of something else. I think Meta has also created something similar. It's not exactly the same, but the objective of this project, what I understand, is that they have these glasses, and these glasses, the main objective is to collect data. So these glasses, they will see how humans act and so on, and they will now they'll use this data to train the model so that they can do the human movements. So far, what's lacking in training robots to do human-like movements is that there is a lack of data. And as we know that AI models require lots and lots of data for it to perform better. So the thing is that in terms of text or video, there are loads and loads of data. So it's quite easy. They have made such kind of advanced models. But in terms of training robots to act like humans, to have human-like movements, there aren't much recorded data in there. So through this project Aria, their objective is to collect data, and they are doing this by making people wear this kind of glasses. And I don't think it's for public uses. They are only using it for research purposes. So I don't think the general public can buy this thing. So their objective is to collect data, which they will then use to train the models. I think this one explains it a bit.
The idea of seeing a robot interact with the world, there's not a person controlling it, yet it's doing all these things. That is the most exciting type of intelligence. I'm a PhD student at Georgia Tech. I work on problems at the intersection of computer vision and robotics, answering the question, how can humans teach robots how to do things by using data that has been captured from an egocentric perspective?
We are trying to use what we call human data. We capture how humans interact with the world, and that data gets used to train a robot. We can actually capture this kind of data with Aria glasses.
It really checked the boxes, which is it's recording a front-facing RGB image, it's tracking your hands in 3D space, and it's localizing the glasses.
It actually captures the environment, builds a map, and knows precisely where the glass is at any given moment.
We have tried to make this an out-of-the-box solution. That means you can put them on, pair your glasses with the companion app, and start recording data right away without writing any code. We look at Aria as an investment in the research community. What personally motivates me is to see the creativity of how these researchers are solving problems.
Oh, it's stuck. Let the people feel the pain of roboticists.
Yeah.
research partners give us feedback, and we can turn around new features pretty quickly. The most surprising thing was to see Aria mounted on a robot, but I think it was quite genius.
Robotics is a real-time problem. Real-time recognition of behaviors and the surrounding environment is fundamental to robotics. Aria is such a small form factor, we can just put it on the robot and have it directly control its own body by looking at the world through Aria glasses.
Georgia Tech made use of the Aria Client SDK, which allows them to directly stream data from the Aria glasses to a machine that can then do inference with a trained model directly from the sensor stream.
This system is a really natural way to collect data that is useful for robotics. I think a lot of people are really excited about this because the promise of scale is much higher than anything else.
The more that the egocentric research community standardizes, the more researchers will be able to collaborate. It's really through scaling with the community like this, collectively we can start to solve bigger problems around how things are going to work in the future.
When more people can collect this kind of data without conscious effort, we can cover a broad range of scenarios and tasks. That type of diversity at such a rich sensor level is dream come true.
Yeah, so this was again, they're collecting data through this process. Yeah. So that they can train robots to act like humans. So another small news was about OpenAI. They've announced collaborations with a few universities. Have you seen that video? Probably not.
No.
I'll say so. And there's some opinion about it. That is more exciting than this thing. So which one? It's called the Next Gen AI. So they have announced, I think so, collaborations with these following universities: University of Oxford, Ohio State University, Harvard University, and Howard University. I think I've heard this university for the first time. So the objective of this project was to first you see what they say, and I'll show about the comment section. The comment sections made me open my eyes about what their real motives might be behind this. So yes, so they have said that they are giving 50 million in funding for, what was it? 50 million to give universities free access to cutting edge AI. We are providing free AI tools and funding for research in compute across disciplines. Okay. Now the next one of the librarians from the University of Oxford will say something. See what he said here. So these are very big libraries here, and since University of Oxford is a very old university, so some of the books, some of the text there is not available anywhere else, and they are not even. They have said that they are not even cataloged, which probably means that they are not digitized yet. So they are only in text forms, and it might be that which means that there is a lot of data out there. And now let's look at the comments here. You see, that's pretty smart. Now they have access to all those unscanned books. See, So now they actually need the training data. So far, one of the controversies surrounding OpenAI from the beginning was that they have trained their models on this data from the internet, which for free. They didn't ask any permission before using those data. And now that people have understood the potential of those things, now it's getting more and more difficult to get data. I mean, it's not easy to. So means over the past few months, as I've tried to use different Python scripts to scrape websites, it's becoming more and more difficult as compared to a few years ago, because now people are taking those things much more seriously. And now in their next step, I'm not saying that this is something bad or anything, but what I'm saying is that it's probably mutually beneficial to both of those things, both the community and OpenAI too. So even though they're advertising it as something that they are donating $50 million for the sake of research and development, from another angle, you can see that they're also look at the kind of universities they are funding. Harvard University, Oxford University, some of the biggest and the most oldest universities in the world. And they are getting access to exclusive text, exclusive information from the libraries of these prestigious universities that are not available anywhere else. So now they are going to digitize those things, and they are going to train their models on those things and get a competitive advantage over other models. So from a business aspect, which they do not mention in this advertisement at all, they are showcasing it as a very charitable thing that they are doing. But I think so the kind of revenues that they're going to get, the 50 million funding is nothing. They are going to get billions and billions out of this, probably, if they get a competitive advantage.
There will be a difference in the knowledge of different models, right?
Yes.
Because some certain models will not have access to some information, but those information are not available generally at all. So there's no way of verifying whether the results are correct or not. We'll have to just agree, or we have to just accept whatever it outputs. Plus, if these are such niche topics that are not digitized at all, how many people would be interested to know about them?
See, what I can say is that, first of all, if someone is specifically researching, or if you're an academic in that area, and if you want those kind of niche information, so if you're an academic, you might have an idea about what those things are. Even if you haven't accessed the exact text, but you might have, suppose, read about it, something related to this topic. Suppose you are studying history of a certain country's literature. So even if you haven't read the specific text, but you know the surrounding area about it, so you might get some idea about it. And regarding this thing, I don't remember where exactly I read this thing. It was about deep research, some blog, I think so. What it said was that when we ask deep research to do something, and it generates a report, gives a report back to us, how do we know that this is accurate? Their insights are accurate. One of the things that they say is that if you are already working in that field, if you have some knowledge of that field, and you ask an AI to generate some response, you are more likely to find some flaws that exist. But if you're researching a completely new subject which you're unfamiliar with, even if it gives you something inaccurate, you are more unlikely to catch those things. So even if there is publicly available data, you'll still face that problem that you are mentioning here. Yeah. So that's one of the things, that even if the information is common knowledge, people still there is a likelihood that they will face this kind of things. But at the same time, the thing is that it might integrate those knowledge and indirectly might be able to give more intelligent answers. It might be possible, because sometimes it isn't that you are directly being asked about those things, because you might study something which indirectly helps you answer something else, completely different things. Even, for example, even in this discussion session right now, I talked about the different economic models of US and AI. US and China. But this was not a discussion session about economics. It was a discussion session about AI and technology. But I brought this concept of economics here right now, and how it's influencing how they advertise their technologies. So this is how our brain works. It connects such varied topics and connects it to a completely different thing. So it might be that OpenAI's model, if they're trained on this kind of data, they might be able to do such kind of connections, which other models cannot be able to do. Again, besides, another thing is that if they truly wanted to make those texts publicly accessible, they could have done this years ago, because you don't need an AI to access the knowledge. A human can still read and write. So if you just digitize this and put it on the internet, people would still have been able to read those things. So you don't need an AI to access those things, anyways. So yes, again, from this point of view, too, their argument falls short of it. So yeah, so whoever is in charge of the advertisement department should have thought through this logical error. Because yeah. And I don't think I have anything more. I think yes, one final short thing. So this is related to biology and biotech. So there is one company who is trying to resurrect the mammoth, and they are working on it. Do you know what what's the mammoth? The elephant.
Yeah, I think I've seen they're experimenting on some rats, right?
Yes. So yeah, so that was another thing. Let me see if there's any videos. I was just looking at one of those videos here. Yeah. I think I was looking at this. Colossal Biosciences. They have their own YouTube channel where they're yeah.
So what is the goal here?
And they're trying to the thing is, I don't know what kind of business this is, but all I know is that they're trying to de-extinct they're trying to de-extinct extinct animals. They're trying to bring back those animals to life. Yeah, most of their again 200 million ways to combat extinction. The future of yeah, I have to look more into the company, means what they are trying to do. What is the, since it's not a lab, looks more like a company as well, because they are raising money. So what's their end goal? What are they trying to do? I think from this first the extinction company with his it's valued over 10 billion. I guess. So what are they trying to do? Let's see what it says. I mean, from this, their marketing, it is something that's going to preserve the environment and so on. But from one thing I've learned over the years, I think so, from experiencing marketing and those things, is that it's not always what they say. And I hope that whatever they're saying, that is their original and final goal. But again, there might be something else more than this, which they are not telling here. For example, look at OpenAI. So it was founded in 2015. I think the initial goal was that when the world might be, means one day AI will come into effect. Their objective was to learn AI and make it accessible to everyone, so that we do not become slaves to AI, so that everyone can. It becomes a democratic tool, not something that controls us. I think that was the original goal of OpenAI. But right now, it is just another company going for profits. So again, from this one as well. So the thing is that from such kind of stories, what I can see is that even though this is what they are saying right now, there's probably something more to it. The fact is that people have invested $200 billion in this company, and it is valued at $10 billion. I think Anthropic is valued at $62.5 billion. So, I mean, it's not quite as big, but still, $10 billion is quite a lot. But even if you look at whatever they've said, it's very good from an environment perspective. But as a business, how are you going to make money from this? I don't understand. I don't understand how they're going to make money from this. How is, what is their business model here? Who are you going to charge for bringing some extinct species back to life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably you can create one thing that I can think of at the top of my head is that you can create certain kind of zoos for extinct animals. And you might charge a premium for people to visit such zoos or such. Maybe better than a zoo would be a artificial national park where you can see those animals in a natural habitat. Yes, probably that can be one potential business model. But on the negative side, what I could see is that you can see that since you can do such with those kind of biotechnology, you can make such kind of changes at the most fundamental levels of biology. This kind of technology can easily be used to create bioweapons too. And I think there is a lot more money in bioweapons by using this kind of technology. If you can de-extinct some animal, so what's stopping you from creating some hybrid animal that you can somehow control? I mean, it seems like a conspiracy theory or some kind of science fiction, but if you can bring back an extinct animal, why can't you do this thing? So there are potentials for that as well. So these are just speculations, but it's a possibility. Because if people are spending 200 million in such kind of companies, so they might want to get something out of it, more than simply just conserving the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just heard of it a few days ago, and today, right? I mean, this is how I'm learning about it. I didn't research this company at all. It's just whatever my thoughts are at the top of the mind. But let's see what kind of developments happen. So I think so. This was all that I had to say. Nothing much. So do you have anything else?
No, not really.
Okay, then we can end it.